Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's Retro Nerd Girl, and I'm broadcasting live from the International Science Fiction Space Station. And it is pretty cold day here. I'm all wrapped up and bundled, but I wasn't really feeling well this morning, but I'm like suddenly in the mood. I played a little bit of the music from the intro, and that just put me right in, got me right started. So I'm here, happy and glad to be able to chat with you this morning. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me know that you can hear me. Someone just let me know really, really quickly if you can hear me before I get started. Do we have a thumbs up on hearing me? Just one person. Just let me know. I can hear you. Just type that in right quick. Can you hear me? I don't know. I guess you guys might not be able to hear me. Uh, Yes, okay. Unicorn. Thank you. So sorry that you had. Thank you, Unicorn. I was just about to start panicking. Unicorn Rampant Studio says hands are full, but yes, I can hear you. Thank you. I really appreciated that. Yes. Um, sorry about that. I just didn't want to get started and no one could hear me. First up today, what is Keith E? Says, I'm stuck at home, so I watched the humanoids video, which was excellent. And that's for all of the members to the channel. I did a special video. I watched for the first time Humanoids from the Deep, and what a movie! What a movie! Wild stuff there, and Kathy says, which was excellent, and Casablanca, which I'd never seen from beginning to end, but so many quotes from this movie I've heard over the years. Yes, I mean, it's been years since I've seen it, but I kind of know like every single. I have a picture of it, but I'm sure there's some more scenes I forgot, and like the deep interwoven story plots that are going on, and but there's like certain things you always remember, right? Which is like, you know, just the incredible chemistry the actors had, the, you know, famous quotes, the music, the lighting, the way that movie looks. It looks so delicious. It looks I always compare it to like, you know, beautiful cinematography to chocolate, but not just any kind of chocolate, like a nice swirly chocolate in a vat, that is just about to be made into some sort of luxury candy. And yeah, just incredible movie. And I can't wait to see it on Saturday. Only a few days away, actually. Unicorn Rampant Studio says it's 12 degrees in Pittsburgh. Wow, that's like you know, summertime compared to here. Not too much. It's only a 10-degree difference right now. Says at least it's clear, but we're getting some frozen paws. Oh. And Unicorn Rampart Studio says Camille absolutely loves the weather. And in case you guys don't know, Camille is his wonderful um, doggy, and she's so sweet. And but once in a while, she lifts up a paw and looks at me like, "Why is the world so bad?" Says, I'm sure I'm projecting. Oh my goodness, she's so sweet. She's probably just like, "Oh, take me inside, Daddy." Oh man. Oh, that just sounds so cute and so sweet. Keith E says, started this morning at -1. Okay, not too bad. It's up to 14 now. Okay, the temperatures are rising. Now Hooper said it's going to be stinking cold. He might as well move to North Dakota. No, no, no. You don't want to do that because it's still only 2 degrees here. And that's warm for us this week. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's very warm for us this week. And Kiwi says, my brother has 4 dogs and lives very much in the country. I always wonder what they think about all the drastic changes in weather. I think they're, you know, animals adapt. They like pretty much live out there. And I think it's still like gonna be a shock to them. You know, it's still gonna be a shock to them. But when I see dogs play out in the snow, they're just having a great time sometimes. Um, and I don't think I think I've only ever seen a dog really, really cold, like, once or twice, and you, like, the owner should have taken them inside a long, long time ago. And then when the temperatures are in the minus degrees, you don't wanna stay outside for too long. It's just cruel at that point. And Taylor Swift greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU is here. Hello, how are you? It says has all the emojis um, from being a channel member. We got movies, retro TV, popcorn, movies. Awesome stuff there. Thank you for for hanging out with us and putting up those emojis. I do love seeing them. Thank you. And let's see. Keith E says, I can hear. Okay, yes. Uh, Keith E says, I can hear you. Oh, I didn't see this. I didn't see this, Keith E. I'm sorry. You told me that you can hear me. It says Hooper wants to use the word gratuitous now. Now on practically everything. I love that word gratuitous. And Darth is here. Hello, Darth. How are you this morning? Hi, Retro. Oh, good morning to you as well. And and tell us of greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU says hello. Oh man. And Dart says Taylor is great. Yes, she is, and she's taken over the world. And Unicorn Map and Studio says hands are full, but yes, I can hear you. And once again, thank you. And Gemma Lama is here. Hello, Gemma Lama. How are you this morning? And Gemma Lama, we got a thumbs up from Darth. We got Gemma Lama says warmed up to 35 in Western Washington. It's been in the low teens for 4 to 5 days. Oh my goodness, I would love to see the teens again. Get me up to 10 degrees, man. I would love it. But yes, it's still cold. It's still cold. Miss those, 80-degree summers. And Tracy's Fractured History is here. How are you? It says, good morning, everyone. So good to see you. And Gemma Lama has a big high sign, waving hand. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So good to see everybody this morning. Really, really thank you guys for hanging out with me and spending time with me. I know it's not always easy. I wanted to look at this movie. I'm sorry, this series called Blood of Zeus, and it actually has been out for a long time. It's actually something from 2020, and I'm like, what? I've never heard of this before. Never ever heard of this show before. And I was on Skywalker the Jedi's channel and noticed that he did cartoons and uh, cartoons and serial, like the series that he's doing, and this was one of the series that was featured on his show. And I was like, I've never seen this. This is on Netflix. Okay, okay, let's see what's going on here. And so I went to Netflix to see this movie. Sorry, this series. I keep mixing it up with series. And I was just totally blown away. First of all, let me just let you guys know that this is definitely a rated R mature series. Let's get my visuals up here for you. Blood of Zeus. Very, very interesting art style as well. But it is quite mature, quite mature. Where there isn't, there's like mature themes, but it's very, there's a lot of graphic violence, if you will, the stuff that you would see in a lot of content overseas, if you will, in the early like 80s, 90s. And I was so surprised to see this. And not only is it in this format of animation, but also it's actually really, really good. They're basically in Greece. Let me just see if I can pull up a little bit of information about it for you. This was also known as Gods and Heroes. They had to change the name because of some legal issue. And so they changed it to Blood of Zeus. And it's an American adult animated fantasy action television series created and written by Charlie and Blas. This last name is going to trip me up. Parlapenides. Okay. And so, and it's on Netflix, produced by Powerhouse Animation Studios, and with the outsourced with the animation outsourced to South Korean studios Mua Films and Hanho Hung Up. And it was released on October 27th, 2020. Um, they got the green light to go on ahead with the season 2. And so we're going to be getting a season 2 in May of this year. So it took them 4 years to get to a season 2. So that's kind of really good. I mean, these guys are taking their time with this. It's not something that they've come up with like 6 months later. They're really taking their time with this. So I'm kind of excited as to what we might get for this season 2. And it just a kind of a accident that I found this title, to be very honest. One of the main voices in this is Hera, played by Claudia Christensen, and she's doing the voice acting for this, which is really, really incredible. Most of the other people I've never heard before, but there may be one or two names like David Shaughnessy playing Chiron, and Dionysus, which is really cool. So let me see if I can get into the plot a little. So, this is all set in ancient Greece, and as you could probably tell, and it all begins with this war between giants and the gods. And so this kind of has Hercules, the Disney's the Hercules kind of influence on it a little bit. They actually get influences from different sources of Greek stories throughout pop culture. Clash of the Titans, even like some influence from that too, which is really great. And so there's a lot going on as far as you can see like certain things. Oh, that reminds me of Disney's Hercules. Oh, that reminds me of Clash of the Titans. So the stories are definitely intertwined because they are dealing with the same subject matter, Greek mythology, and it all begins with this war between not the Titans, but these giants that were created, and I believe they were created from Titans according to this story, and they really have a stronghold against the gods, and at some point the gods had to fight them, and they did win. And remember Talos from the from Jason and the Argonauts? Well, he's in this too. This is really great. So Talos is the guard to keep these giants at bay, and so with the power between all of the gods, and they are able to contain these creatures, which they have kept under the sea. And so here's Hera and Zeus in love with each other at this point in the story, and defeating the giants. So then at some point, there is a beautiful woman who is married to a king, and this is like a loveless marriage, but the Zeus sees her, and as we know from history, Zeus is sort of a playboy. He likes, he strays from his marriage quite a bit. And this particular series doesn't stray from that, but they do make the relationships between him and the relationship between him and this woman to be a very strong love, in fact, not just, hey, I saw a beautiful woman, and it was physical. They actually create a relationship there between these two, and at first he appears to her as her husband. So there were many times that she's like, her husband's like really cruel to her, And then Zeus comes and he's super, super loving and sweet. And she's like, oh, I know something is wrong here. So what's going on? So he appears to her and he, you know, well, when people get together, sometimes babies come from all of that. And so she gets pregnant with both his baby, and also the baby of her own, of her own husband. And so Hera finds out about this and she's pissed. She's really pissed. She's like, why are you cheating on me again? And it's really kind of sad because that Hera is in this position of, like, she's just trying to figure out everything. She's got this relationship that she's maybe has faded in during time, but she's still being very, very faithful to her husband, but he's not. He's been straying. So he has a lot of children that are kind of going out there in the world. But instead of dealing with Zeus directly, because she deals with all of the women and their children. She's always done that in every story. So this was really kind of, it goes into it a little bit deeper. I kind of wish they went even further than what they did and really fleshed out, but they don't make Hera as just a flat bad guy. She has a purpose. She is due her reparations. She may take it out in the wrong way. You probably say, oh, this is probably not the right way to do it. But also, she's, she has a serious gripe. She may not be handling it the proper way, but you side with her pain. And so there's a lot going on here. The babies come out, and one of the things that Hera does is that she makes sure that the king has nightmares or dreams that tell him that his wife is pregnant, and one of the children, she has two children and inside of her, and that one of them is his son and the other is not. And so this gets him paranoid and cruel and insane. And so there's this whole event when the babies come out, that one of the babies has brown eyes like the father, and the other one has blue eyes like Zeus. And so it's a very kind of powerful moment that kind of haunts this show over and over and over again, because the results of that moment really sets the stage for everything else. I'm trying not to spoil everything so that if you do see this, it's going to be really fun for you, but that's just the setup in that case. So that way there's just a little bit of spoilers about the beginning, and at that point it kind of sets everything off. And this is like kind of like regular Greek history starts off this way, and so I do love that they play with the actual lore and the actual history, and then they fool around with it a little bit. They don't fool around with it too much, but enough to make you feel like, oh, this could be a story. This could be something that actually happened. And you understand all of the characters and their motivations. So there's two sons out there. They make sure to let you know. And at first you don't think much of it, but it's a big thing. So Zeus manages to get his the lady away. We never really learn her name, but she manages to raise her son in this city that has been clouded over. Zeus put a cloud over the city so they can't Hera cannot find her son, find them, find them. So, because she's out to get them. I mean, it doesn't matter. She will not forget about it, and she will get them. It's just she can't see them when there's with this cloud over the city. Well, that has really made everyone in the city fear the lady and her son because they think that they are cursed, and so they've brought a curse upon the city. And so, yeah, there's a lot of pain and suffering. They're like always very cruel to the young boy and cruel to the lady. But she's actually a queen, so nobody knows that. Nobody, he's a prince. So and also the son of Zeus. So everything has been really quiet and kept a secret. The only person who really knows is the his mom. Uh, Zeus's son's name is Heron. Heron. We really see a lot of the story through Heron's eyes, but there's also other people who kind of come in and take over the story a little bit, but not in a bad way. I mean, when we say blood of Zeus, it's kind of like all of the blood shed and the like literal blood running through Heron's veins that is, encompasses this story. And it's really, really, really well done. I can't wait to see what these guys do for part two. It's really interesting. Um, but I do say as a warning to anybody with, who's not quite used to violent cartoons. There's some moments in here that are a little bit disturbing, to say the least. And yeah, let's see what you guys are saying. Oh, let's see. I'm missing a whole bunch of things. Just running, just going off with this story. I do love it so much. And Dart says, I miss the Casablanca. I still haven't seen that movie one day. Well, I'm doing the watch party on Saturday. So, yeah, I believe there may be. I'm trying to think if there's a copy of it online somewhere. You might be able to find clips of it online somewhere. Yeah, we're doing the watch party on Saturday. It's really good. It's really good. And let's see. Tracy says it's 34. Oh my God, 34 in Florida. That's really low for you guys. That's really it must be a shock to you guys. Oh, I wish we had 34 degrees around here though. That would feel so nice. And let's see, Jamalama says, I've got Netflix, so I'm sure I'm going to check this out. Do check it out. If you like animated works that are mature animated works, this is going to be fantastic and I'll love it. They definitely deliver on not just the action story. If it's beautiful at the same time. There's lots of beautiful images, lots of terrifying ones too, and they just. I think the storyline is so good, so good. The characters are definitely like ones you will never forget. And I think this particular series just needs word of mouth to get out there. I'm sure it'll be part of pop culture eventually, but it's like one of those things that has to grow in the zeitgeist. It's not going to be out there right away. It's something that grows, and it's really shocking how I was shocked how good it was. Keithy says, take the time to subscribe and hit the like button. Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Keithy. I really appreciate that. Yes. Do hit the like button and subscribe. I really appreciate that, Keithy. Um, and yeah, so moving forward with the story, there is an old man that hangs around the mom and the young boy Heron, and he makes a sword for Heron and says, "This sword will help you, on your journey, it will cut through anything. Well, what does he do? He throws the sword away. Like, I just wanted to strangle him. I'm like, why do you do this? So he doesn't use the sword, but it comes into play later on in the story. And all the while, Hera's watching all of this. She sees it all. She has not missed anything. Um, there is a young lady who is an Amazon in the story who also helps out. The story is not based on her. She may be part of the next season, but she's not like the camera character to that gets the most screen time at all. But she is a sort of either a ploy in one of the stories. They're like chasing her, and there's another one. She's an asset, I would say, an asset in the story. One of the characters that help, the mortals that help in the story. Jamalama says, "I love the animation, love this style, love ancient myth. I'm kind of tripping. This has never popped up in my feed." Exactly. Exactly, and that's what I love about YouTube and sort of this like movie, TV, kind of network of people. We share a lot of these the things that we find with people, and so I think it's important to keep the conversation going and keep it. I love keeping it positive, but also sharing the stuff that's not so great too. So I think you might look at see it and be like, I don't really like it, but it has so much going for it. I'm sure at least one person in my group here would love it. It's just really entertaining as can be. I couldn't stop watching it until the very end. I had to binge it all. I was like, oh no, okay, what's going to happen next? I was really hanging on to every single word everybody said, and it was great. I forgot the name of this character, but they called her the Amazon. Um, and yeah, she does some serious. She has some serious moves, as I'll have to say. Um, and she forms sort of a partnership with Heron. Uh, uh, so maybe they might work on sort of a romance for him in season 2. But with his life, it might not be the best thing for him to have attachments. We don't know. And so, the key element here is that there's a group of individuals that are called demons. They are created by coming into contact with other demons or by coming directly into contact with giants. So if they get into contact with any giants, the giants will give them powers. Especially one of the things that the giants urge them to do is eat a piece of their flesh. And once they do that, they transform into these demons, which is really kind of cool to see. And Dart says, yes, more anime. Akira is still my favorite. Yeah, Akira is amazing. It's amazing. I can't wait to do a watch party eventually one day for Akira. And yeah, this is they're chasing down the Amazon is chasing. Oh well, sometimes she's being chased by them. So she initially she was chasing them, and they were chasing her. It was just crazy. But she needs to get a map. But then there's this guy that shows up. It's like who this? Who this? Well, this guy is Seraphim. Yes, Seraphim. Which kind of reminds me of Sephiroth with the long white hair. And he rides this creature here that is so amazing. I love this creature, the flying like lion. Um, and he faces off with Heron, and it's no contest. This is a huge beast of a man, and he's got these demon powers. So it is quite interesting that his father Zeus is kind of guiding him. He's like, "Don't face him now, uh, duck." He's trying to guide him along the way, and it is really kind of cool to see that he's trying. At first he defies listening to these um, these things, but then he's like, "Oh well, this is going to save my life, so I better listen." And yeah, these demon creatures really, they are pretty fierce looking. It's the artwork is just insane. It's just insane. And these are the townspeople on which they're pretty much just fodder uh, for the bad guy to um, dispatch. But they have been so nasty to Heron that you're just sort of like, yep, you guys, bye bye. I don't care. They're so bad. It's really bad. But here he is. This is Sephiroth. But I almost called him Sephiroth. Seraphim, who yeah, really steals this series with his story and his backstory. It's just insane. And it's sad too. It's extremely sad. But let's see if I can get a good one. Uh, and these are some helpers that somehow Heron is captured, and he is um, makes friends with these two guys, and it's really quite wonderful. Oh yes, Tracy says I love the artwork. In this series, yes, isn't it just incredible, the lighting, the shading, how the characters are drawn. I love to see heroes and things like that, like you know, demigods and humans that look really strong, and they're all just fierce, just fierce. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. It embodies the entire fantasy of it all, and unfortunately, there's a scene where someone has to go to the underworld, and they show you that whole process, and that comes into play later on in the story, and it's just great. Now, the way they draw the gods, the gods of Mount Olympus, they're all like gorgeous and beautiful. It's insane. And this one, I think this is, who is this one? Not which one this one is, but um, yeah, I'm sure which one this one is. But he brings everyone that dies into the underworld, and this is Hera messing with Seraphim. She's been messing with this story since the beginning. So the whole thing is, this is an elaborate plan of hers to get her revenge. She is pissed. She is pissed, and she just wants uh, her revenge, and she's past the point um, of turning back at this point. And so she just ruins a whole bunch of people's lives for the heck of it. And because this oh, should I break the oh, I don't want to spoil a certain part of this, but there's a reason why she goes after Seraphim in particular. It makes his life miserable, but um, also guides him to the direction of doing some dirty work for her, which gives her the upper hand in doing some crazy stuff. So, and let's go. This is Seraphim before he became a demon. And so he was like a normal person. He was already scarred. You can see some serious problems there with him. But I think his transformation, his backstory is so good. I don't want to ruin that for you, and I want you to totally be surprised by that. But he gets his hands on this sword, and it's in the wrong hands, right? You want a sword that can cut through anything in the hands of a weaker individual, but he's got it, which is like, oh. But at this point, Zeus has to get involved, and once he gets involved, that means that there's a civil war in with the gods, and so that is that becomes a big piece of uh, the story. And a lot of people are pissed at Zeus for continuously going outside his marriage. I mean, it's really cool, right? Okay, the griffin is cool. Like, just the like anybody, just put in a griffin in your story, and I'm there. I'm there. Okay, it's just interesting story so far. Yeah, it's very very interesting. And I think it is. It's great stuff. Great stuff. This is Poseidon here with the gray and yeah, I just love the way everybody's drawn. This character, I hope he makes it to season 2, actually. I really do. There's a possibility he's in season 2. He's really great character. He has this bident here. I was like, what is that? He's got this bident, and he can control it. He can bring it to himself, his hand. So he can control it. And I'm like, ooh, that's cool. And then there's like a stinger at the end about that bident. It's really great. And this is just an example of the artwork for scenery. There's so many different visuals for scenery in this story, and this is truly beautiful. This is one of them. This is of Mount Olympus, um, and just how beautiful it is there. And these are the gods here. Um, and like I said, each and every last one of them are beautiful. They're drawn like amazing. The ones that you probably will, if you went to Twitter to see, which ones you typed in blood of Zeus, you probably get a lot of pictures of Apollo. Apollo is people just love him. And there is Apollo right there, the blonde in the middle. People just love him for there's actually a scene in which the younger gods are battling, but it's like a contest or something. And of course, he's like one of the main uh, people that battle, and it's so glorious and big, and the way it's portrayed is so beautiful. I honestly, and it's sort of like a love letter to sportsmanship, and but it's done in a savage way. These guys are trying. It looks like they're trying to get each other, like and Aries is the key element in that. They kind of showcase how much he is such a fierce fighter. But Zeus brings Heron to Mount Olympus, and you could actually hear people say, like, "Oh, he's, how dare him bring that child here?" And they call him all sorts of names. They call him the B word, which I don't want to say, and don't anybody type it in the chat, because I don't want YouTube to get upset at the channel. But yeah, they use the B word to refer to him as as an illegitimate child. And it's really cutting, because you can't help the way you were born. I mean, that's not your fault. So it kind of, it is one of those moments where you're like, oh, so this is this bites, you know, it really hurts a lot to hear that. But there are couple of people, a couple of gods, not people, well, and that come up to him and say, "Hello, my name is, you know, such and such," and try to get to know him and try to be friendly with him and make him feel welcomed. So there are some people who are very sympathetic to him, and there are quite a few gods that are not um, they are they're not demigods, but they are gods that are his Zeus's illegitimate children. So it they also side with their father. So it's really kind of cool to see that. Um, and Tracy says, "Sweet, yes." And I just love this stuff. I love it so much. It kind of reminds me of the old you know, He-Man and Masters of the Universe cartoons, you know. Um, I do love um, a good story, you know, like this. I don't know if it's like gender specific or anything, but I've always loved these kinds of stories. And while on Mount Olympus, Zeus is trying to train Heron to be a fighter and to be able to fight against super beings, you know. And so he has this incredible robot that, you know, that is very, very skilled. And I forgot who makes all the little tinkering bots, but he's in it too. Um, I think, is it Hephaestus, I believe, in this particular story. I think it's Hephaestus. Um, How do I remember that? I don't know. And there he is. And look at Bulbo is right next to him. Guys, remember Bulbo from Clash of the Titans? There he is. And Jamalama says, my chats have been acting weird lately on my phone. Oh, really? Yeah. It's so, I guess they're making some changes with YouTube, some adjustments. Um, Never know what to expect from those guys, but um, the Fates are in this. I love the Fates, and they have them at different ages, very young to to say in her 30s, and then they have an elderly one, and so it's really kind of cool to see it's the space that they're in, and where it's like strings all around, and Heron gets to see some of his past, and um, gets a weapon after that and stuff like that. That's really cool. Um, he's become a soldier, if you will, and so he's able to go back. He sees in the fates that he needs to help his friends, so he leaves and he goes to help his friends, which is really um, and they've all gathered, and this little sequence is actually pretty cool. um, Kind of terrifying, a lot like a horror movie there, but not horribly terrible. But it's got the tension kind of there. And and Hera is still messing with Seraphim. Uh, he's a very I love that character Seraphim. And so she manages to get um a whole bunch of people, you know, to create sort of this civil war in the in Mount Olympus, and she like straight up like stabs. She stabs him, and he's like almost dying. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna die, but he's Zeus, so he's I won't tell you how he does it, but he manages to get himself back together again. Um, and the Trashed Picture Show is here. How are you? And says, if you could be a Greek god or mythical entity, who would you be and why? Oh, wow. Uh, what's better? I mean, what's better than Zeus? I mean, you want to be at the top of the top of the food chain. Why not? But then there's others. I think. Huh. Aries, the god of war, is pretty interesting. Oh, by the way, this is Aries right here with the crew cut. I'm like, they gave him like a soldier's cut, which is very interesting. But he is formidable. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I'm not maybe Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Um, and oh, unicorn says, "Don't answer." All right. Well, I'll trust you, unicorn. And unicorn studio says you don't want to draw any attention one way or the other from the gods. Yes, they could get really jealous. And the trash patricio says makes sense, given he's the god of war, having a military haircut. Yeah, I thought that was translated really well. Um, you know, I think they could have designed him so many different ways, but um, uh, unicorn, you just made me laugh so hard. Um, this is really, I think it's really perfect. It's really perfect for him. You know, um, he's definitely but when you see he also has a helmet. I didn't get a picture of him with the helmet on, but it's really something to see. And he can fight his butt off. He has got moves, okay? And guess what side he goes on? He goes on Hera's side. I'm like, please no. We don't need that. But yeah, he does. And Darth says, "Oh, I was thinking Father Time. Oh yeah, you could play around with time, go back and forth, change things, maybe. Sounds like a good one." Give me 1 second, guys. My allergies. Okay, and Jamalama says, "I gotta go back. I'll be I gotta go. I'll be back. I hit the notify me for a bunch of streams on this channel. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Miss RNG. Oh, you're so sweet. You're much, much, much welcome, and thank you for hanging out with us this morning. It's really nice to hang out with you. See you again really soon. And yeah, I mean, please, I mean, I there's a close up of Aries killing it. I love the drawing. They just really nailed it. And it's like, yeah, that's the guy you don't want to mess with. So yeah, there's a war. There's a full out war with the gods, and it is incredible, incredible stuff that they're doing here. And the thing is that they can't really kill each other, but they can knock them out. They can get them. You know, there's a lot of things they can still do. And it's for some of it, it looks really bad, but they don't ever like actually kill each other. Um, and here's Talos. This is their version of Talos, which is like, what? It's Talos. I just for some reason I started screaming when I saw Talos. I don't know why. I turned into like a 4-year-old. Oh man, it was really really fun to see Talos. And Talos is the key to keeping the um, the giants at bay. And so, with this sword that cuts through anything in the hands of this insane person, Seraphim, man, he makes easy work of Talos, but in a very entertaining way. It's very entertaining how he does it. And it's not 100% easy, but it's easy with that sword. um, and so here we have them all assembled. on Hera's side. She's got the golden fleece as well. She's got it all. She's got all the trinkets. And one thing she summons the giants, and the thing about the giants is that they were never on the side of gods. The gods were their enemies, so they really can't be trusted. And that's the problem with Hera's plan, really, is that she believes that these guys are going to do her dirty work with her, and they have their own agenda. And Poseidon decides to join because Hera has promised the giants the sea, and it's like he was like, "Wait, what? What? That's my territory. What am I supposed to have?" So yeah, that was a nice moment when Poseidon changes sides, and I really wanted to see more of Poseidon in this, and really really killing it. But there's some key moments where that was really visually stunning. So this ends up being Zeus's team, um, and it is a lot going on. But ultimately, we do have some scenes with. Do I have a moment? Oh no, I don't. We do have a couple of moments with Zeus and Hera that is really kind of brought like a little tear to my eye, and I felt like, oh my God, um, something really great was gonna, we could really turn the story around, but it doesn't work, and so it's really like heartbreaking at the end, um, and so another thing that really, and I'll leave that as a surprise, but it is a happy ending for Heron at least, and it's kind of nice to see a happier side of things. But at the end, we get this sort of last moment with Hades. This is Hades, the god of the underworld, and it was just like it kind of dropped your jaw in a way, which was really kind of cool. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Tracy says, "Have a nice day, everybody. Gotta walk my dogs." Oh, how cool! Have a great day, RNG. You do good work. Thank you so much. Thank you. You enjoy your time with your babies, and uh, Dart says, "You as well, Tracy." And Thrashed Picture the Trashed Picture Show says, "Are any of you guys fans of the old Harryhausen, Jason and Argonauts Clash of the Titans?" Of course, yeah. And there's a lot of it in this story that you see. You see a lot of it in this story, which is really great. I do love those little references. That appear in the story. So yeah, definitely big fans of that stuff. That's yeah, my some of my favorite things that you just listed there. Clash of the Titans, Jason and the Argonauts. Um, so yeah, overall, I absolutely love this. This was really a lot of fun for me. I love the I love mythology in general. Any one, just I love mythology. This is some of the best stuff that I've seen, especially love the fact that in the cartoon world or the animation world, you could kind of get away with anything, right? You could do so many different things with animation you just can't do in real life and live action. And so I love this format, and I think I hope that season 2 is going to be just as good as this season, or even better. Now, my rating is pretty high. I gave it a 9.7. I really liked it. It may not be for everybody. Like I said, the one thing that might be a drawback for a lot of people is how violent it does get. There's a lot of graphic stuff there, shocking stuff, things that are like, You're like, "Oh, my lunch." It could get it they did not hold back, at all, and how gruesome some of the stuff can get, but it's in a cartoon, so, or it's animated, so you don't have the same, intensity as you would if it was live action, but again, it's still there, so if you are averted to that kind of stuff, that could bother you, but I didn't mind it, in the fact that the story was so good that I felt like it felt like it was part of that world, where things are a little bit more savage and a little bit more, um, uncertain and, cruel to human beings at this point in time. I wouldn't mind a Conan the Barbarian, um, from these guys or from this kind of production level. Uh, yeah, and you guys are saying goodbye to Tracy, and Tara says, "Yes, of course. Old Clash of the Titans was really good for its time. Yeah, it was fantastic." And the Thrash Picture Show says, "Gotta go get dinner. Awesome stream. Love from Emerald from the Emerald Isle." Oh wow. Okay, cool. Well, I hope to see you again. Take care and have enjoy your dinner. Um, if you're still around, let us know what you're having for dinner. That'd be great. And just have a good meal. Yes. Yeah. What are you having for dinner? Yum 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 yum. Yum. And yeah. So yeah, I loved it. I loved it, guys. I don't. Um, it, I do grade things a little bit higher than normal, like everybody else probably. I rarely ever give a 10, but also of late, I have not been seeing any modern things that have been, like, really giving high scores to. So this is definitely one of those where I'm like, "Yeah, this is great. This is right up my alley." I'm not sure if it's up everybody's alley, but from what I explained, I hope I've explained it in, quite good enough to let you know what it is about and what the pitfalls of and the highs and the lows that you might find there. And I'll move on to box office. Box office, guys. Uh, for the weekend, Mean Girls was number one. This is the first week, so Mean Girls was number one. Give me one sec. All right, I'm back. Beekeeper was number two. Now, right now, so Mean Girls, I've been hearing kind of, I haven't been hearing really good things about Mean Girls, and I'm not sure what to think. So I have no like real grasp on what people think of Mean Girls, but my regular sources are not covering it. Not yet. So we'll have to see. I'll have to see about that and let you know what I've been hearing in the grapevine for next week. Now, Beekeeper, I heard that it's really either people really hate it or really love it. Like there's no in between. Either you hate Beekeeper or you absolutely love it. A lot of critics hate it, and I just wonder if they hate it because it's a David Ayer film, or if they really just hate it because it's really not good, right? I don't know. I can't trust critics at this point because I'm not sure if some of them are biased. So, yeah, this is really kind of hard to um, to assess from what I've been hearing from people. Um, it's one of those things where it should check off all of the things that people say that they're looking for. They want a male led action film, and so we'll see what happens if the if the rhetoric around Beekeeper changes, if we get more people saying, I love it, I don't, enjoy it. But I'm hearing some scathing reviews for it. So I'm not sure. Not sure what to think. Wonka is still holding on. It's at number 3. We expected it to do a lot better, but it's been 5 weeks, so 3 is still good. 3 is still good. Anyone But You. I've not heard anything about Anyone But You, and it's at number 4, and it's been out for 4 weeks. Migration, an animated movie. I have heard mediocre things about it. Not really great, but some people are saying it's great. Some people are still struggling to figure out you know, what it is or that it exists. So this is one I really haven't really heard a whole lot about. It's being ignored by a lot of critics, I think, but the audience seems to love it. It's still holding on. So uh, I can't wait to see it. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. This is one that should have been crushed. This should be, number 16. It's number 6. It's still holding on to the top 10. You go, Aquaman. I mean, a lot of people don't like um, this film as much as the first one. Some people, there's been a few people who said that they like this one better than the first. I don't know. So, it's one of those things where I'm just kind of confused what to think. I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to kill streaming. Streaming is going to do very well. And like I said, it's still holding on to the number 6 spot. It's doing much better than anyone ever thought it could do. So keep going, Aquaman. And White Nights Swim is still in the top 10, but I heard really bad reviews for Night Swim. Very, very bad reviews for Night Swim. So I don't know how it's still on the top 10, but it's still there. Gunther Karam. Gunter Karam. This is an international film from India, and I'm not sure anything about it. It's at number 8. Boys in the Boat, another one. This is one I have not heard of. Where did these films come from? Number 9 on the chart. Number 10 is The Book of Clarence. Another one I have not heard about. Iron Claw is number 11. I thought this would be a lot higher. A lot of people have said this is an excellent movie. It's one of those movies that is highly emotional. Well, at least it's in the top 20. Okay, but I'm surprised to see such a dip. I'm really surprised to see such a dip. And Aquaman is still hanging in there. Like, what is going on? Hanuman is out. I'm noticing a lot more international titles than usual. And yes, that's at number 12. Number 13, American Fiction, which has both excellent reviews and also a few terrible reviews. Right now, the excellent reviews are outweighing it's more excellent reviews than terrible reviews. There's just people who find this movie offensive and other people who absolutely think it's brilliant. So it's just so interesting how you can have differing opinions on a movie. But it's been out for 5 weeks. It's at number 13. I think that it did fairly well at the box office based on the subject matter and what this kind of movie would typically do. This is the shocker of all things, though. The Color Purple is at number 14 this weekend. My goodness, that is really, really low for these guys. This should have been, this should be hanging out at number 2. It should be up higher, but it's not. Very surprising that it is it is not. The other thing, oh yes, it is a musical. And another thing I think about Mean Girls is that that's a musical too. That's about all I've heard is that people were disappointed that the studio did not let them know that it was a musical. That's the only problem I've heard about Mean Girls, but I haven't heard that it's whether it's good or bad, which is I think maybe a bad sign because you uh, if the conversation is not really about is it is it a entertaining to watch, but I haven't heard anything on that, just the complaints. So um, well, going back to our list here, number 15 is Poor Things, which is actually pretty good. It's still hanging on. And of course, it's up for lots of awards and things because it is definitely critically acclaimed. There are a few people who think it's appalling, but on the most part, people are praising the performances and definitely the writing and the visual style. So that's something that I thought was um, pretty cool about it. So I can't wait to see that either once it's available. Um, a Unicorn Rampant Studio says original Mean Girls is incredible. Is this a remake? Oh, um, yeah, wasn't the first one amazing? A fun fact, Mean Girls is the first digital movie I ever purchased. Um, um, well, is it that or I'm trying to think if it was that or I think it is Mean Girls, if I'm not mistaken. My memory is like kind of shaken sometimes, but yeah, Mean Girls is um, this is a remake and it is also a musical. So yeah, but they did not advertise that it was a musical, so a lot of people went into the theaters completely surprised that it was a musical. Some people even walked out. So that was kind of um, that's upsetting, but also hmm, who knows? I don't know if it's any good. I don't know if that's an asset or or not. Depends on the songs and the production and everything. Keith E says, I guess the question is, what's the buzz? Mm. And Garrett says, they keep the owl. That's cool. Um, do you mean for they keep the owl? Do you mean for um? Well, I'm not sure which movie you're talking about. Let me know which movie you're mentioning. The owl. Is it Bobo from Clash of the Titans from Blood of Zeus? Let me know. Let me know. And the headlines are going to be kind of quick today. And I tried to end them with a high note, so hopefully it'll be positive this time. Unfortunately, though, we'll start off with the sad news, which Joyce Randolph was the last living member of the classic 39 episodes of Honeymooners. Not just the main cast, but every supporting player, even those who were kids at the time. She was 99 years old. Yeah, so and that's sort of she was the last of a very bygone era of TV, classic TV, if you will. The TV that started it all. So yeah, so sad that she passed, but she lived to be 99 years old. So and that was pretty great. And Variety gives us this little tidbit here. Argyle director Matthew Vaughn shuts down the conspiracy theories alleging that Taylor Swift wrote the book that inspired his 20 million Apple spy thriller. it's not Taylor Swift. She definitely didn't write the book, and that's because I believe the book is written by someone who wants to remain anonymous, and I think that should be respected. I know when people get excited about something, they just want to know who's behind all of this. But yeah, the other piece to this, and I really wish I had Apple. I cannot afford another streaming service at all. I cannot. So this is one of those things that I really want to see this story so badly, but I'm gonna have to take everybody's word for it when it comes out. And then this is really interesting. Dave Filoni organized a Godzilla minus one screening at Lucasfilm HQ or headquarters with a Q&A from director Takahashi Zamasaki. And this makes sense because in The Mandalorian season 3, there is a large monster, the Mythosaurus, that is in that story, and I suppose he wants to get some inkling how to present that in, say, a movie that's coming up, a Star Wars movie that might be The Mandalorian. And I think it's really cool that he's looking for help in that department. Who knows? He may even ask um, Takashi to direct or co-direct or something with him. So that is something to keep in mind. That it's some way, shape, or form he may be gathering information or possibly wanting to do something with that director. But also that director has mentioned and has said he wants to work on a Star Wars project. And so I suppose finding the perfect fit for him would be something that they would be discussing. So that's very interesting stuff that's happening behind the scenes. And who knows where that would lead to along down the line. So just gonna have to look out for that, keep our eyes peeled and ears peeled as well. And so um, we get a little bit of information and backstory on the She-Hulk TV show. My thoughts about the She-Hulk TV show, which I didn't get a chance to share with you guys because this was before I got started with doing live streams. I liked it up until the last episode, which I was just very, very disappointed that we had a story that was brewing, and I was really looking forward to see how they were going to tie it all up. And they basically stopped telling the story and made a lot of jokes, and then they jumped ahead, and so we didn't get a conclusion to the story. We did get a conclusion to the story actually, but we didn't see that conclusion to the story. We didn't it just happened. And so I was kind of disappointed that I had been waiting and waiting to see, holding on to this story, waiting patiently for the end, or for it to be satisfying at the end, and was let down that they abandoned the story for jokes, which is something I just had a big problem with. Now, and that was my problem, but a lot of people have other reasons why they did not like She-Hulk. And there are complaints about She-Hulk from episode 1 all the way to the end. And so the thing I hear from this article or this little snippet here, um, Tatiana Maslany um, says, I think we blew out our budget, and Disney was like, no thanks. And the budget for season 1 was uh, $225 million for the entire season. And that's a lot of money. For Echo, the show that we just looked at, they spent 270 million for that show as well, which it blows my mind. These shows don't look what like what they're saying there. They could have just produced a movie, um, and 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 made it look really, really well and really spent the money wisely. This is really, in my opinion, blowing money. But one of the other things about She-Hulk was, and spending a lot of the money for this, there was a lot of uncanny moments where you're just like, what is going on here? With okay, I'm willing to go with it, but also when you have situation like that, you really do need to have a good storyline. You really need to um, be sure that that if you're writing jokes or you're writing scenarios, you really have a good idea of what those things are. And it wasn't just that the money that they spent on this; it was uh, the story itself was definitely lacking, in my opinion. And uh, this, but it was interesting that her explanation was the was the money. It's more than just the money. It was more than just the money, and this I thought was very interesting. Um, they were trying to put together the list of all of the TV shows or the TV networks that received the most Emmys. And so HBO came out ahead with 31, Netflix 22, FX, which I don't have anymore, had 16, Apple TV, which is growing in um, importance, has 10, Disney Plus only had 9. The biggest and most expensive studio in the world, they only had 9. That's really kind of wild. Prime Video only had 6. That's also surprising, but that's HBO. Who knew? But they do seem to have good series. That's one thing that HBO has over everybody else, and I think that's because they've been doing series for the longest. Um, to be very honest with you, and so Box Office Report says Warner Brothers, The Color Purple, grossed an estimated 430K on MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day. So they had quite a bit of people coming to the theater. Updated 4-day weekend estimate was 2.27 million. That's not a whole lot of money, but it is definitely. It seemed like on that day in particular, people really went to the theater to see it. One other thing here is that Dolph Lundgren was quote unquote disappointed by Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom for getting rid of a really good original cut. So according to him, and you could read what he has to say. Um, the original movie, before the reshoots, before everything, really had a good script. And he says, I was just disappointed for moviegoers because I thought the original script was great and the original cut. I saw a little bit of it. It was really good. So I didn't see any reason to start reshooting and reshaping the story, which obviously led to disappointment in the moviegoers and not just me. Yeah, and that's been sort of the problem with uh, what they did to a lot of these movies um, during the last part of the DCEU was all of the reshoots that they did for all of these movies was just out of control, trying uh, to to squelch the stories, I suppose, and so they made them very lackluster and they took away a lot of the story plots, so and changed them. fundamentally. So yeah, that is pretty sad to see. And then Deadline Hollywood says streaming giant Netflix is looking for an expert to analyze residuals, according to a job posting, and following studios. New collective bargaining agreements with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA that includes some concessions on payouts. This is really good news for all of the people who are involved with this: filmmakers, actors, writers. Uh, they're actually taking this seriously and trying to figure out how to divvy up the money properly, in a way that coincides with all of the agreements that they made for the strike that we endured. So yeah, that's pretty freaking awesome. uh, and look, every studio should be going through that, but they're not. Um, and I believe this is oh, sorry, this is not the last. Um, but this is really kind of cool here. Adobe and the Adobe Foundation launched Adobe Film and TV Fund with $6 million for emerging filmmakers. And this is great because, um, emerging filmmakers need funding for a lot of their projects. And so this is great. I know 6 million doesn't seem like a whole lot, but for uh, filmmakers with micro budgets, this could be really, the difference between getting like paying their actors or getting special effects, getting lighting, things like that. Um, you know, with micro budgeting, you can really do a lot. And so with a little bit of funding, uh, maybe you can do much, so yeah. And so we still have a lot of awards left. We are ready. Went through two of them this week. Had the Critics Choice Awards on Sunday, Emmy Awards on Monday, and the next is the Grammy Awards, which doesn't really cover movies, but sometimes they do. But also it is one of those big events that everybody in the film and music industry show up for. So we'll look out for that, as well as a few of the other awards. Possibly next Saturday. Oh, well, that will be the Saturday afterwards. We'll get to the Directors Guild of America's awards, and then that sets off a whole chain of awards until we get to the Academy Awards. It's really pretty exciting times for awards. Um, and and then we're all done, guys. Oh man, thank you guys for hanging in there with me. That says, gonna be in a football chat this weekend. I'll try to get some of them to join here. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That really means a lot to me. Thank you. I really like that. Thank you. Um, and so yeah, guys, this is fantastic. We're gonna have um so much fun. Let me just see if I could lay out a few of the live streams that we're having this week really quickly. So, Blood of Zeus, man, what a show! I'm really happy I was able to talk about it before the season two. This is great. And this Friday, the 19th. I will be celebrating 1 year of live streams. Now, it's just going to be really low key, nothing big. All I'm going to be doing is talking about our greatest hits. We're going to do some shop talk, if you will, talk about a little bit behind the scenes stuff, and really see like what I want to shape up for the next year. Like, I'll talk about some of the things I want to put in the live streams, want to do with the live streams, and I'll talk about sound some things off with you. We'll talk about some future ideas for watch parties. You guys can put together some lists if you want to do homework, some things you want to see me do watch parties for. That kind of stuff. That would be really awesome. On Saturday, we are gonna do Casablanca. It's gonna be wonderful. Casablanca, 1942. It is a classic, a must watch for any cinephile, and we're big time cinephiles over here, so we're going to add that to our watch list. I did see it ages ago. It's been a long time, so seeing it again, it'll be almost like seeing it for the first time, except for a few scenes which I've seen. There are clips all over the internet for some of the clips. I don't know if there's any place you could see this for free. Of course, it's in my library because I, you know, this is something I had to have. So I do hope that you will join me for that, and you do have a copy. I hope you have a copy. Then let's see what else. For Sunday, definitely Patreons, look out for something on Patreon. On Patreon, always put something out on a Sunday. Monday, members, you will be getting a new video. I do have one ready for you, so I'll definitely have a brand new video for members this upcoming Monday, the 22nd. I'm going to be looking also too at a series on next Wednesday, called The Brother Sun. That's also on Netflix, and I've never seen this one before. I've heard it's good, and so I believe that they put it out right at the end of 2023. So hey, why not? I'll take a look at that. Anything new, something exciting, and I don't mind watching something if it's gotten some decent reviews. Why not? Also, we're going to continue our 1984 discussion on the 26th. And then just to let you guys know what the next watch party is coming up after Casablanca, we'll be doing Groundhog Day 1988. Love that movie, and Groundhog Day is coming up soon. So yes, dig out those tapes and DVDs and see if maybe you'll be able to join me on the 27th for Groundhog Day. Or if you want to, you can watch that video on Groundhog Day if you want and watch along. And let's see what you got here. Darth says, LOL, this new anime at the end, one guy had an owl on his shoulder. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's Bulbo, yeah. Bulbo the from Clash of the Titans. Yeah, they show it in Blood of Zeus. So I hope Bulbo is part of I hope he's part of the season 2. That's so much I'm hoping that they put in season 2 from season 1. Keith E says you mentioned a dragon movie coming up. Which one was that? A dragon movie? Oh, I will be doing a watch party for Dragon Slayer. I'm not sure what the date is, but that's that will be coming. Dragon Slayer, that will be the 3rd of February. So yeah, Dragon Slayer's coming up too. We got a whole bunch of good ones. And Kenneth Wilson is here. Wilkinson, sorry. Kenneth Wilkinson is here. How are you? Says, good afternoon, Retro Nerd Girl. So good to see you. And he says, I cannot find Casablanca anyway. The cheapest place was Apple. Oh, I'm sorry. So sorry. And Darth says, Knights of the Old Republic Star Wars story, Darth Bane or Raven would would be a good movie. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I never heard that one before. Okay, I'll buy that for $1. All right, guys. Well, it is time for me to say goodbye, and definitely had so much fun today. I hope I didn't scare anybody off from seeing Blood of Zeus. I thought it was wonderful. I enjoyed it so much, and let me know if you do get a chance to see it. Let me know uh, if it lives up to my statements at all, or if like it's not your cup of tea. Let me know. I do love it a lot, and I'm actually I might give it a rewatch just before season 2, just to refresh. And uh, again, I hope this really takes off into the zeitgeist, because it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Finally, like after looking for a lot of good material, I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. Anyway, I won't continue too much longer. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.